Are we almost live? Looks like we're live. I'm just waiting for the ping to go out. And waiting for the announcement to go out. And still waiting. How's everybody doing? Because it's Friday, we're gonna watch alien videos. Because it's Friday, and I don't feel like riding Rust or doing any of that shit. So, yeah. Just waiting for that. There it goes. It's out. Alright. Let's watch this one.
If you're into
I love this guy.
UFOs and aliens, you need to see this video. Okay?
Okay.
You need to subscribe because this
How's
is a
everybody
good
doing?
cover, man.
I love all you.
And many of you know I am a true lover and a believer. I want to believe in the UFOs, and more so now because I know that I've seen UFOs up in the sky, mate. Literally last week, me and my mate, we saw them.
Literally last
I
week.
have done a whole video about it.
Sheesh.
Now, I know
Last
there was
week.
no proof.
God damn.
That I
Oh.
couldn't faff with my phone.
What the fuck's up,
properly.
everybody? What are you
I know
guys doing
this.
today?
I
It's
am
Friday, dude.
sorry.
You guys
I am
better not
so
be doing
sorry.
anything.
I didn't think that whilst riding my motorbike in the dead of night, in the middle of nowhere, about to go and do some work on telescopes, that I would
Dude, you
bump
talk too
into
much.
a
Shut
UFO,
the fuck up.
which happened 4 seconds in front of me, right? With a helmet on, bike gloves on, phone
Alright.
attached to the motorbike.
Fuck this one. Guy talks too much. Ooh. Okay. This one looks good. This one looks good. Let's kick your feet up. Kick it a little bit.
On August 7, 2021, an unidentified flying object in the form of a matte black metal disc was filmed, flying at a low altitude in the sky of Manhattan, New York. The unidentified flying object flies under the clouds that covering the sky at a slow speed, which appears to be large in size compared to its height in the sky, and the size of the clouds next to it. Some differed in describing the unidentified flying object as circular in shape, and others were of the opinion that it was oval in shape. We have mentioned before that such unidentified flying objects often appear in the sky during the presence of thick clouds, and the reason for this, as explained by researchers in the
Okay, the only time I've ever actually seen a UFO, it was extremely. It wasn't cloudy at all. Like it was in a desert. So
unidentified flying objects
it's
is
gotta
that
be
they
bullshit.
use clouds as a means of disguise, and we have talked about this in a previous video in details. The unidentified flying object continued to fly in the sky at a relatively slow speed. This was before it took off vertically in the sky at a very high speed.
Okay, that's a
in
little weird.
Gaithersburg, Maryland,
What the fuck
a
is
very
that?
strange unidentified flying object in the sky on August 8th. In a strange scene, as close as possible to science fiction or Hollywood movies and animation films. An unknown flying object was filmed, which actually indicates a very superior technology. I do not think that it belongs to the planet Earth, and if that is the case, and that it is indeed an
The
Earth
fuck is this
technology,
thing?
there are great planes that are manufactured secretly.
Looks like a fucked up grapefruit.
We did not see it before. The UFO
And yes,
had which
the aliens are in the room with me.
looks like separate parts of the fan blades and
Here's
contains
one,
a red light
right
separately
here.
that flashes constantly.
He's gonna come
and
sit
these
on my
blades
lap.
constantly rotate around the
Jimmy,
unknown flying object.
let go.
The movement of the rotation of the blades is very slow, due to the fact that it is not considered to be the responsible of the flight of the UFO, meaning I do not think that the rotation of the blades is the propulsion
My
device
best
of the
friend.
UFO.
It's the only friend I
The
have.
witness says, entered I-270 south from Quince Orchard Road and immediately saw slow-moving, approximate 30 miles per hour, object which was so big I pulled over on narrow shoulder. I wouldn't have done this for a small toy or consumer drone. It seemed to be flying northwest first over Montgomery County Fairgrounds soon as it crossed the
All good.
270, then flying west into Sunday. On a UFO Facebook page, many people were sure it was Mylar star balloons.
Look, I'll put that thing
But the
back.
edges of the
Oh
moving
shit.
appendages had hard angular edges and whole thing seemed mechanical, moving by its own
There you go,
propulsion.
Larry.
It was definitely spinning while the 4 to 6
Shit.
appendages were moving up
Shit.
and down as if the whole thing was revolving
God
around a
damn it.
Rubik's Cube-like axis.
Just stay.
The red
Thanks.
lights on bottom were much brighter than in video I shot, and I recall they were alternately flashing or strobing as appendages moved up and down.
Appendages?
Some
What
said
kind
it
of
was
appendages?
morphing.
Hold on.
The exterior
Hold on. Was it like an octopus? Was it trying to fuck people? I bet you it was trying
shell
to
or
fuck
hull
people.
seemed hard and rigid, and appeared both dark grey and red as it moved. The lights seemed encased in the shell of craft. On August 15,
Found footage.
2021, a person
Oh,
was
yeah, hang on. I made
surprised
that.
as he got out of
Never
his
mind.
cabin by the presence of 2 flying saucers flying at a very low altitude near the tops of trees and very close
I
to
can
his
fix
cabin.
that.
The flying saucers fly in a very strange way, near the tops of trees as if they are floating and not affected by gravity. It is also reminiscent of the flying saucers that Billy Meyer photographed in the 1970s.
Forgot I did that. My bad.
The UFOs appear to be perfectly circular and hover over the tops of trees in constant high and low, and seem to rotate on themselves. There's a little light in the middle, and what I think is the engine, and the UFO appears to be cut into pieces by the edge and moving very slowly in the daytime sky.
What the fuck does cutting pieces on the edge even mean? What the
Of course, the usual explanation for skeptics is that it's just a secret technology. It was the master of interpretations, but I don't think that a secret technology will be tested in this place and in front of the public. There are a lot of secret places dedicated to experimenting with secret technology. On May 9, 2021, the hero of this unique scene was driving on the road somewhere between Saskatchewan and Manitoba,
edging?
Canada,
I'm
when
glad.
suddenly he noticed
That's
an
good, man.
unidentified flying object hovering near the
I feel like
surface
I've done
of the
enough
Earth
this
as if
week,
it
so we're
looking
watching
for a suitable
aliens
place
now.
to land, not
What the fuck am I looking at? Hang
far
on.
from
Is
the
this it?
road. He was driving on at distance of only about 50 meters.
Why does it keep zooming in
A
there?
little hesitant, the man stopped his car and decided to record quick snapshots of this unique scene that is not repeated often. The unidentified
That just looks like a hole in a fucking rock.
flying object of medium size. We
Ugh.
cannot say that it is huge, and also it cannot be described as small. White in color, it emits a strong light and does not appear to be a metallic body, but we can describe its condition as, it is similar to the plasma state as described by the well-known Mexican journalist and ufologist Jamie Maussan. The unidentified
see.
flying object is not round and not disc-shaped either, but it is closer to an oval. The unidentified flying object is flying at a very low altitude from the surface of the Earth this time, and it emits rays directed at the ground as if it is searching for something, as one of the viewers commented on the footage. But what was he looking for? This time, skeptics will not be able to explain the unidentified flying object in this very near scene as a normal plane, a balloon, or even a drone, as the clear close scene left
This
measuring
is. I feel like this one specifically is just fucking bullshit. That doesn't even look like anything. It's not moving, it's just sitting there.
saying this. But if we assume that this unidentified flying object actually does not belong to planet Earth, what does it do? This is a question that many researchers in the field of UFOs have tried to answer before. Where they confirmed that such luminous, small unidentified flying objects, whose state is similar to the plasma state, are in fact unmanned and there is no commander on board, but they come here carrying orders to carry out a certain mission and then return. A few hours after the massive
They're on
earthquake that hit
missions.
Fukushima Prefecture in Japan on February 13, 2021, at 3:10 p.m. At around 8:30 p.m., a swarm of UFOs were captured by the nuclear power plant's security webcam. The monitoring technicians didn't do much but noticed strange low-level lights on the nuclear plant's verticals. The sightings started with a white unidentified flying object standing still above the nuclear plant. Then another yellow unidentified flying object appeared, flying at a low altitude above the beginning of the nuclear plant, moving at a slow speed and then suddenly speeding up to reach the middle of the plant in an instant
It's
and
fucking
changing
hot
its
in here,
color
dude.
to white and then
God
moving
damn.
slowly. Then it turns yellow again. Then an orange flying object appears, flying at a
hang
lower
on one
altitude than the
second.
previous flying object. Above the end of the nuclear plant, then it rose a little and changed its color to white, and all the unidentified flying objects started moving in different directions, Then a group of unidentified flying
So
objects
why
appeared
can't we
in
see
yellow
them
and orange
moving?
colors from the other direction, all
Where's
moving
the
in
video of
different
them moving?
directions and flying in
There
of
we
these
go.
UFOs. And even the nuclear plant's monitoring system officials haven't said anything about what these UFOs are. There were many explanations about the origin of these unidentified flying objects, the first of which was that it was drones monitoring the situation from the air. No official at the nuclear plant reported the presence of drones over the plant at the time.
Yeah.
And if that is the case,
I'm gonna turn that
why
into
do
a
drones
fucking
appear over the nuclear
emoji.
plant only after earthquakes, and the possibility of a leak of nuclear radiation? It could be some kind of secret nuclear technology that measures the proportion of nuclear
Secret
radiation.
nuclear technology.
In this case, why would Japan hide the truth of the matter, as it is a developed country and is known to possess advanced technology? On August 10, 2013 around 7:59 p.m., this stunning image of an unidentified flying object was taken in Bexhill, seafront, East Sussex, UK. The eyewitness
The fuck is this?
on the surface. This may be true and that the
Oh.
unidentified flying object has just come out of the water in one case,
Stupid.
if it came out and remained still in the air for a certain period, during which the effect of
This
its
one
exit
sucks
from the
too.
water had
Oh, let's find a new one. Ooh. Okay. Okay.
If you fail that drop
Chilling
before,
detail.
listen up. Walmart, Home Depot, and Wayfair have been.
You're about to witness some of the scariest videos that are trending right now.
Oh shit.
Let's take
Here
a
we
look.
go again. Hold on. I'm gonna turn off the fucking lights. Oh yeah. There we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Is that too dark? Yeah, I think that's way too fucking dark. How about now? Is that too dark still? Yeah. Yeah, it's always a fucking disc, and I don't know why. But, alright, let's play this shit.
In 2021,
Oh
TikTok
shit, here we
user
go.
Evie Gaskell 1 and her family moved to a new
Let's put my
equestrian
feet up,
property
too.
ready to start a fresh chapter. Among the remnants left by the previous owners was a pile of junk set to be burned on bonfire night. While
Okay.
preparing the fire, her dad discovered an old mouldy saddle and casually shared a photo of it on WhatsApp, jokingly dismissing it as just another pile of rubbish. But what happened next shocked everyone. That night, as the bonfire roared, the family recorded the flames on video. When they reviewed the footage, they noticed something strange.
Okay.
Take a look.
What the fuck is that shit? Hold on.
Footage, they noticed something strange.
Looks like a
Take a look.
fucking horse. Nay,
They noticed
motherfucker.
something strange.
He's like,
Take a
nay, nay,
look.
bitch. The fuck? The fuck is that? The fuck is this? The fuck is that?
A ghostly figure that looks like a horse galloping through the flames can be seen.
It's over here now.
The property had been home to
Oh,
horses for over 40
something.
years, including a famous stallion known for siring one of the royal family's carriage horses. Now, the family can't help but wonder, was it the spirit of this legendary horse taking one final gallop through the grounds?
Probably fucking
The
not.
video has quickly gone viral, captivating paranormal enthusiasts and equestrian lovers alike. Whether it's a trick of the light or the ghostly presence of a cherished horse, the footage has sparked countless questions about the mysterious history of the property.
What is it gonna do? Float? Because now it's right fucking here. Look, you see, it's right there. Hang on.
Light or the
So,
ghostly
it
presence
goes
of
here,
a cherished horse, the footage
then it
has sparked
disappears,
countless questions
and
about
now
the
it's over
mysterious
here.
history of the property.
What is it? A flying fucking... Is it a Pegasus? Is it a flying fucking horse? The fuck? It's a bunch of bullshit.
A mysterious encounter at a jewelry store has left employees and viewers alike unsettled. The strange incident, shared on Instagram by user Paranoid Normal, shows a jewelry store employee interacting with
What is that? I just got sent a cursed video, so we're gonna pause this real quick. It says female Bigfoot made me do it.
This is where it happened, back here in this dry creek bed. I was back here looking, I thought one of my dogs was back here, and I was like, how'd the dog get out of the yard? I saw a bunch of, movement, and then I got back in and
There ain't no fucking way.
And then I was worried about my dogs because there's a lot of Bigfoot and
There ain't no
Sasquatch in
fucking
this
way.
area. I didn't have a gun with me, and so I got back here, and that's when I saw the female Sasquatch. She tore out of the bushes, knocked me down on the ground, and I thought she was gonna kill me. I'm like grabbing for a gun, and then I realized I didn't bring a gun with me.
Oh my god.
I didn't have a dog with me. I was back here by myself.
How long
I was
is this video?
terrified.
5 minutes.
I was so terrified. It was so scary, and I wouldn't be back here right now except I feel the need to like get over my fear, and what happened. And what happened was, as soon as I was knocked down on the ground, she starts ripping my clothes off me. She did. She pulled my pants.
There's no fucking way. Okay, hang on. Okay.
Pants off me, and I'm like, oh great. Well, find my naked body here. It's worse. As soon as she got my pants off me, she started like jerking the weenie. And I'm like, whoa, that's not gonna work.
That's not gonna work. Whoa, that's not gonna work.
And then the next thing I know, keep in mind, this is a big Sasquatch, like comparable to like a big hairy Russian woman.
There ain't no fucking way.
She was big. She was like, 7.5, 8 feet tall and hairy. And so I'm down there on the ground. I'm completely naked. My clothes have been ripped off me. And she starts giving me a knobber. It was all just biological. I didn't have any choice. And the next thing you know, I blew my load. I blew my load in the Sasquatch. As soon as I did that, she got up and she ripped down. She like let out this howl and then ripped down this tree. And I thought, my God, she's gonna like take the tree and take it and smash me, right? No, it didn't end. And then she started blowing me again. She starts blowing me again. Like, could you give me 5 minutes? She didn't even give me 5 minutes. She started blowing me again. The next thing you know, I bust a nut again.
Oh my god.
Again, and then she stands up and does one of these like.
There ain't no fucking way.
Like, isn't that good? I swear to God. I swear to God.
Isn't that good? Oh fuck.
Then she hightails it into the woods this way. Now, I didn't know what to do at this point. I'm like, what do I do? I get raped by a Bigfoot? Call the police? What do I do? I still don't know what to do. I mean, she could be pregnant with my child. I'll tell you one thing, I don't go in the woods anymore unless I have a weapon with me. I'll get over this. I think I should probably talk to somebody, maybe a counselor or something.
Okay, what can you possibly have left to talk about?
I mean, I've never been raped before this. And listen, if it was a female human, yeah, let's do it. This
Okay, we gotta stop. I can't.
What she believed was a customer. However, the store's security footage tells a different story. Watch what happens. The employee can be seen greeting someone who appears to walk through the door.
She started giving me a knobber.
She begins showing products from the display, engaging in a conversation with what seems like a customer, but there's clearly no one there.
Hang on, I got a message.
Concerned after watching the exchange from the back room, other employees come to the front to see who she's talking to. Watch what happens.
could have been a
The
hairy
unsettled
Russian,
footage
like
has
a
viewers
hairy
convinced that
Russian
the employee
woman.
may have unknowingly been serving a ghost. One commenter added a spine-tingling detail suggesting that a pedestrian had been hit and killed by a passing car just outside of the store several years ago. Was this a case of a ghostly customer returning to browse, or a trick of the mind? Either way, it's left everyone wondering who or what really walked into the store that day.
Why'd she just faint?
Y'all gonna get some doll content.
For years, TikTok user Lenduran Diri has been collecting vintage dolls, but recently things have taken a bizarre turn. In a series of unsettling uploads, she claims some of her prized possessions may be haunted.
She's like,
What began as a simple
is that good?
hobby has spiraled into an eerie situation that's left her
Oh,
followers
fuck.
questioning whether the dolls
Oh,
are
God.
truly possessed. In one of her viral clips, the user is seen driving with one of the dolls sitting quietly in the back seat.
The doll is back with us. Not the one.
Alright, we're about to watch some cursed ass videos. I keep getting sent all this shit. No. Alright, send me videos, guys. Alright, let's check this guy out. Oh, it's this. Okay. Bigfoot cooked. What? Hell yeah.
Here we have one Bigfoot hand and arm, and I'm gonna cook it, and I'm gonna eat it, and I'm gonna give it to the whole neighborhood. This Bigfoot really made a
Why?
mistake when he came onto my land. Yum, yum.
Dude, that's wood. Look at that shit. It's wood. Hang on. It's literally wood. Look.
Yum.
See? Wood. Fucking lion sack of shit. What is this guy? Okay.
To get started in data analytics, you don't need previous experience or a degree. The Google Data Analytics Certificate.
Shut the fuck up, Google.
You are good. You are helping. Without you, the process cannot be completed. Cain, do not worry. All is fine. You are an important cog in life. Our life,
What the fuck is going on?
everyone's life. No being is less important than another being. And we are close. I am here. I am fine.
You look translucent. You sure you're okay? I've never seen you like this.
Is part of the process. Right where you stand. Please, help.
You understand that this is difficult. This is strange. I've never done this. I don't even know what these are. I don't
This is
understand
so
any
fucking
of this.
weird. I like his shirt. Hey, it's Mew. E.T. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Alright, I'm bored. We're gonna go back to learning Rust real quick. Let's open up this one. Yeah, okay. And this one. Alright. Collections.
Let's go over some collections. These are all in the standard library.
Huh.
Vector is a generic
Collections. Yeah. What's that?
collection that holds a bunch of one type and is useful
Copy
where
something
you
from your
would use
Discord.
lists or arrays
Hi.
in other languages.
I'm learning
It's the
Rust
most
now.
commonly used collection by far. When you create
Vector.
a vector, you specify the one type of object that it will store in angle bracket.
Why angle brackets? Yeah. That guy 32. Back. No. What the fuck does that do?
Once you have the vector, you can push values into it. Vectors act like a stack, so push appends things to the end, and pop removes the item at the end of the vector and returns it.
So it's like an array? So it's like an array, kinda, right? Something like that? That shouldn't work. Yeah, it works.
Since vectors store objects of known size next to each other in memory, you can index into it.
Okay.
If your index is out of bounds, Rust will panic, which is much more helpful than feeding you garbage. So check your length before you index. Quite often you know the values of a vector when you create it.
So it's like a fucking array.
There's a macro called vec, with a lowercase v, that makes creating
So I can make a... V1. Right? Yeah.
creating vectors from literal values much more ergonomic. Vectors give you a lot of great low-level control over their behavior, and they have a ton of methods to do just about anything you could possibly want. Insert, remove, split, splice, sort, repeat, binary search, it's all in the standard library. Hash map is a generic collection where you specify a type for the key and a type for the value, and you access the values by key. In some languages, you would call it a dictionary. The whole point of a hash map is to be able to insert, look up, and remove values by key in constant time. When you create a hash map, you specify the type of the key.
So H bool hash map new
and the type of the value. In this case, the key is a byte and the value is a boolean. Once you have a hash map, you insert entries with the insert method. Use the remove.
So 0 true. F5 H dot remove 5 true H dot remove and 5 dot unwrap. The fuck?
Remove method to get a value. Remove actually returns an enum called option. We will talk about enums.
Yeah, we were watching alien videos, then I got bored and I decided to code in Rust.
There are also methods for.
So, have 5 will return 5, right? And then we'll go back to alien videos here in a second. I just got bored. H. Use STD. That's right. Oh, cool as fuck.
Getting
Like it.
references to values and iterating through keys, values, or values, either as
Look,
immutable or
motherfucker.
immutable references.
I like coding, okay?
There are a bunch of other collections that I will just quickly describe. VecDQ uses a ring buffer to implement a double-ended queue, which can efficiently add or remove items from the front and the back, but everything else is a little less efficient than a regular vector. Linked list has the dubious distinction of being quick at adding or removing items at an arbitrary point in the list, but slow doing absolutely anything else. HashSet is a hashing implementation of a set that performs set operations really efficiently. Binary heap is like a priority
So I
queue
side
that
watch
always
paint.
pops
Shut the
to
fuck
max
up.
value. Beats
We'll go.
number
Okay,
and
fine. We'll go back to the fucking alien videos. Okay, we'll watch videos. I wanted to learn something, but I guess everybody else doesn't want to learn anything because y'all are a bunch of fucking retards. So we'll go watch videos. How's that sound? Let's look up scary alien videos. That's not even how you spell videos. And let's do filters this week. Messed up scary videos. Okay, watch the knife. Passive income with AI bot. Blue beam UFO creepy tech. Okay, we're watching this one.
Well, gang, we got a big one tonight. I guess that's what she said. But today we're
He said that's what she said.
Project Blue Beam. Something that people don't like. They don't like it. So like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you're brand new. This is one of those topics that always get buried. Always get buried. Shout out to the Y-Files. We got a movie up ahead, guys. Put your seatbelts on. Hide your kids. Hide your wives. I shouldn't have to say that, but this show isn't news. It's entertainment.
I'm not taking suggestions right now.
Here we go.
You're on your way to your assignment.
The
You've worked the same
Y-Files.
job for 7 years.
Wow.
You didn't choose it, but they say it's important and you're well suited for it.
Okay.
Everyone's occupation is assigned based on ability. To run society any other way would be chaotic, the way life was before the event. The event was the day everyone on Earth became a single society. You don't remember life before. Nobody does. The media reminds you of overpopulation, pollution, illness, and endless wars for resources.
That's like...
And they still keep on going.
The world
right?
was fractured into different states with different cultures, religions, and leaders. It must have been awful. These stories make you glad your memories weren't erased. The event saved humanity.
Okay.
Cities are calm and efficient. No borders, no conflict. One global society.
Doesn't sound too bad.
provided for
Then all you
and
motherfuckers will
secure.
shut.
Everything just works.
Context why I'm saying
Well,
that
shut
is
up.
because
My bad.
Project Blue Beam is supposed to bring this change, and on paper it might sound good, but
So, that's not what this does.
the agenda behind is very.
You know,
very
let's watch it
evil.
anyway. Let's keep going.
And it's to erase all religions and all that crap, and to have a false flag, false alien attack, and there's a whole lot of crap which I'm sure he's gonna get into, and we're gonna talk about
But
it.
sometimes a memory will flash through your mind. Riots, violence, destruction, tension, anxiety. You push it away. Why think about the past when life is so much better now?
I like his
But
fish.
some people can't let go. The event deniers. Bitter malcontents spreading disinformation that life was somehow better before. It's deplorable. Thankfully, these troublemakers who cling to the past.
Look at how AI
disappear
generated
as
that
soon
shit
as
this
they're
was. Hang on.
identified. Some people can't
Watch
let
this shit.
go. The event deniers.
Did you guys see it?
And here
Bitter malcontents spreading disinformation that life was somehow better before.
First of all, look at this motherfucker's fingers. And then look at this guy's hand. And then look at this guy's hand. And look at...
It's
Look at the way he's running.
deplorable. Thankfully, these troublemakers who cling to the past disappear as soon
You're this really AI generated as well.
as they're
Probably.
identified.
These videos had to be made by the AI.
Then I won't have to talk to you, fucking dumbass.
Yeah, 100%, 100% right.
That'd be,
Unless this
you
is
know,
like-
that's a good idea. Because then I actually, legitimately don't have to talk to your worthless fucking ass. That's perfect. I'm gonna figure out how to do that. I love you. Thank you.
like written in a different language.
Once all the event deniers are gone, we could finally be rid of that conspiracy theory. Shadow governments, secret technology, UFOs and aliens. Everyone knows none of that is real. No sane person believes the event was anything but a gift. And it definitely wasn't some conspiracy called Project Bluebeam.
Here we go, boys. It is going down.
Here, let's just watch the actual one. Files. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, let's watch the actual one because that guy's gonna be fucking annoying as shit.
This episode of the Y-Files is brought to you by Delete Me. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but two quick things. One, this is us
Here we go. Alright, here's where we were. Alright, boys. Let's get it.
Human, there you are. I need your help. Something strange is happening.
Stranger than a talking goldfish.
No, you idiot. Will you listen? It started at breakfast this morning. I was browsing the web, having a bowl of Mariner's Choice.
Whoa, you know that stuff is way overpriced, right?
Excuse me. Mariner's Choice is organic, non-GMO, and honest anal.
Artisanal.
What I say?
Honest anal.
I'm scrolling through and getting ads for camel toe polish and beaver.
This goldfish is 100% on fucking acid. Look at its eyeballs, dude. Look at that shit. He sounds like butter. He really does. I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be right back, guys. You can come with me. Nah, fuck you. I'll be right back. I'm back, bitches. I need a snack, too. My fucking fat ass. I'm hungry as shit. My wife got me a snack drawer. I'm gonna get a Slim Jim and some cashews. Hell yeah. And in for Palestine, bro. What is this? Well, we're watching conspiracy videos right now.
Lotion.
What are you?
One for a Crab Cat home defense kit.
Those are oddly specific.
here's
What's
an ad
good,
for
Jay?
2-for-1 drinks at the Velvet Hoof. This guy knows everything about me.
Well, it sounds like data brokers have been selling your information.
Oh, really? Is that what you think, Poirot?
Poirot?
He's a fictional detective from Agatha Christie's novels.
I know who he is. What do you want me to do?
Just tell me how
No,
to fix it.
I dropped
Easy.
one.
Just use delete me.
Oh, I think you just poured me a fresh
Oh,
glass
God damn
of
it.
sponsor.
I sure did.
This is still the
Delete Me
fucking
is a
ad.
hands-free subscription service that removes your personal information that's being sold online.
They tricked me. That was a good ad.
Serge Monast wasn't the type of guy you'd expect to become a global conspiracy icon.
Annan. What's up, Annan? Annan, hacker for Palestine. Oh. Wow.
He was a journalist from Quebec, Canada. He focused mainly on political commentary. In the early 90s, he didn't like where society was headed. Something was happening. He could feel it, but he couldn't identify it. So he did some digging, and his fears were justified. He discovered a secret cabal of powerful elites controlling the world from behind the scenes. He called them the Shadow Masters. You can substitute shadow government, deep state, military intelligence complex.
Illuminati.
Right. Whatever you want to call them, Serge Monast was determined to expose
That's
them.
pretty good.
Yeah, they didn't like that.
Don't get ahead of me.
Oh, no.
In 1994, he published a book about his investigation, Project Bluebeam, which outlines a detailed plan to create a one-world government and a new world order. And the plan is about to go into motion. NASA and the United Nations will be front organizations. The UN will allow the elites to influence every country on Earth, and NASA will create the technology to turn influence into control.
Okay.
Monast discovered that Project Bluebeam will create the biggest hoax ever conceived. Using advanced technology and psychological manipulation, this illusion will be so convincing that it becomes the new reality shared by everyone on Earth, a reality controlled by an elite few. Project Bluebeam has 4 key goals to ensure everyone's primary allegiance is to the new
Okay,
world
alright.
order.
I'm gonna just say this real quick. You guys know how I know we're not living in a simulation? Because this is what I do for a living. I'm literally fucking retarded. So, if we were in a simulation, I'd be at some fucking shitty desk job, just typing away on a computer, while somebody tells me what to do. I get to tell everybody else what to do. There ain't no fucking way I'd be doing this. If we were in a simulation, this would not be happening. Just saying. Alright,
First,
continue.
destroy religion. Second, destroy national pride. Third, destroy the family. And fourth, destroy individual creative freedom.
Hello, this is already happening.
With a goldfish that has a tinfoil hat talks about
As
I mean,
soon as his book was released,
you
he
know.
was followed, surveilled, his phones were tapped, he was harassed.
How would
and
he
then
know
there
that
was
his
a knock
phones
on
were
the door.
tapped? How the fuck would
Child
you...
protectors.
Okay. How would you know that your phones are tapped, huh? How would you know? You wouldn't. That's the point.
Services. They took his kids away.
What? Why?
Well, his children were homeschooled. The Canadian government didn't like this. They were taken from him and made wards of the state so they could receive a proper public education.
Run by the government.
Yep. He never saw them again.
You know what? That your phone is tapped? I'd tap your fucking phone too, you
A
weird
few months
motherfucker.
later, in December, another
I'm just
knock
playing.
on
I
the
love
door.
you.
Pizza?
Police.
Yeah.
He was arrested for spreading misinformation.
It's been a long time since Canadians had freedom of speech, huh?
Monast was questioned by police for hours and then spent the night in jail. Then, the very next
That's
day,
pretty funny.
well, what usually happens to whistleblowers who expose secret government programs?
They write books and go on Joe Rogan.
No, I mean whistleblowers not for military intelligence.
Oh, this happens.
What was that? Did you sneeze?
No. Don't you see me slicing my fin across my throat?
They're an alien.
No, it's not even moving.
Hang on. How about this?
Still nothing.
Crap. Good. Yeah, I might have to ease up
Yeah,
on the
he has a
Botox.
literal mouth.
Yeah, you're not fooling anybody.
It's for my migraines.
So what happens to whistleblowers?
God, they say we're good.
Yes. The next day, Serge Monast was found dead in his apartment. The official report said he died of a heart attack. He was only 51 years old. His latest physical showed him in perfect health.
There's
2
weirder
other
things that have
journalists
happened.
looking into Project Bluebeam also had sudden heart attacks, though they had no history of heart problems.
Okay.
So we know the goals of Project Bluebeam. One world government, one world religion, one national identity, and the erosion of the family in favor of the state.
I bet you the Annan kid believes this shit. Do you believe this, Annan hacker for Palestine?
Those are big goals. Big goals require bold moves. The Shadow Masters know this.
My cat's scared of the talking goldfish. He just jumped off the... Your cat said, fuck
With an
this.
earthquake.
An earthquake, huh? Okay.
The elites behind Project Bluebeam know that implementing a one-world government requires everyone to share a single set of values. That makes the population much easier to control.
Okay.
Project Bluebeam achieves its goal in 4 steps. Step 1. Create a single religion where everyone worships the same God, the God they create. Serge Monast called this the New Age religion.
We must remember that the New Age religion is the very foundation for the New World Government, without which the dictatorship is completely impossible.
There's like
That is
180
why the
people
Bluebeam
that
project
just
is so
joined.
important to them, but has been so well hidden until
guys.
now.
How do you destroy all religions? Well, find new archaeological artifacts that discredit them. Produce hard physical evidence as proof that their doctrine is wrong. It wouldn't be the first time that religion was impacted by a new discovery. The Dead Sea Scrolls. For hundreds of years, the Bible was thought to be complete. Then in 1947, a shepherd finds some clay jars in a cave, and suddenly there are new religious texts, like the Book of Jubilees, the Wisdom of Solomon, and the Book of Tobit.
Yeah, and the Book of Enoch.
Right.
The Book of Enoch, link below. It's got giants, it's got it.
The Book of Enoch is in the Bible. What the fuck are they talking about? That's wrong. Why did they say that? Okay, so what happened? The Bible has never been complete. The Catholics, when the Catholics released the Bible, the King James Version anyways, they took books out to make it, quote, in their own, to make it more what they wanted, okay? So there's the Book of Mary that's gone. There's a fucking Book of Lucas or some shit. There's like 4 books that are missing from the Bible. It's never been complete. The Book of Enoch is in the Bible and always has been in the Bible, so that's fucking bullshit.
It shows it's got the Great Flood. It's even got Anunnaki.
This discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls didn't
I don't know what the
fundamentally
fuck they're
change
talking
religion, but it did cause scholars to ask, what else are we missing? Imagine an earthquake in the Middle East which reveals hard evidence that Jesus never existed. Chaos. Or an earthquake that reveals technology buried for 2 million years that proves human DNA was engineered by aliens or another advanced race.
Yeah, Anunnaki. Anunnaki.
That would completely undermine not just the story of creation, but also debunk evolution. Project Bluebeam will fabricate any evidence necessary to discredit every religion on the planet, and they'll hide that evidence in an earthquake. If
How
the
the-
right artifact were discovered,
How the fuck would you hide evidence in an earthquake? Like, how are you going to make an earthquake? Doesn't even make sense. We can't even detect when earthquakes happen. You think they're going to make one? What the fuck?
it would cause chaos within every faith. But what about people who don't belong to a religion or don't believe in God? Project Bluebeam addresses this in Step 2, the step where we get a new God.
A new god? Okay. Oh yeah. That looks fun as shit. We need Doritos. Oh, this is an ad. My bad.
Project Bluebeam's Step 2. Manass calls it the big space show in the sky, but it's so much more. He discovered that NASA and a few intelligence agencies developed the technology to project 3D holographic images into the sky. I say into because the system uses a combination of satellites and ground-based systems to manipulate the ionosphere. You don't need a screen. Images can be projected onto the particles in the atmosphere. The projections will appear so lifelike that people will believe they are witnessing a miracle. The dominant god of each region will appear in the sky. Imagine looking up and seeing Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, all speaking to their followers in their own language. Their god will tell them their
Buddha
beliefs
isn't a
are all
god.
wrong, then will slowly morph into a new god. This is the first appearance of the new Messiah, God of the New World Order.
The projections of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Krishna will merge into one, and explanations of mysteries and revelations will be disclosed. This one God will, in fact, be the Antichrist, who will explain that the various scriptures have been misunderstood and misinterpreted, and that the religions of old are responsible for turning brother against brother and nation against nation. Therefore, old religions must be abolished to make way for the new age, new world religion, representing the one God Antichrist they see before them.
Debunking old religions will be enough to convert some people to this new.
Okay, so question. My question is, how are they gonna produce a fucking, like, projection that real? You know what I mean? Like, how are they gonna make it seem that real? They're acting like we have this insane, like, otherworldly fucking technology when we really don't. So how are we gonna do it?
Giant deities appearing and then converging into one Antichrist will convert a lot more. But these technologies won't work on everybody. Non-religious people will be terrified for sure, but they won't suddenly believe in a god based on a hologram, no matter how real it looks. The Shadow Masters know that. The Shadow Masters know that to create a one-world government and single religion, they need 100% of the population to believe. But you can't force a religious belief on somebody. They need to make the decision themselves, or at least be convinced they made it. The elites know this. That brings us to step 3. If you're not convinced by what you see, they'll use technology to broadcast the message directly into your brain. You may not realize it, but this technology is being used on you right now.
Okay. So if they use technology to broadcast a message directly into our brains, wouldn't we all be having the same dreams? And then we'd go to somebody and be like, hey, did you hear this? And they'd be like, yeah, that's a good dream that I had too. So people can't have the same dreams. That's not possible. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's a bunch of bullshit. But I'm sending you cat images.
When the new god appears in step 2, you'll hear him speaking whether you believe in him or not. Okay. And you won't be able to escape his voice because you're not hearing it through your ears. His voice is coming from your mind. Oh. The third step of Project Bluebeam is mind control.
Okay. How are we going to accomplish that?
Electromagnetic waves to interfere with brain function. They can shape perceptions, create emotions, and influence beliefs.
Okay, that's actually true. That is a thing.
The third step.
Look at this fucking AI generation.
The Bluebeam project uses electronically augmented two-way communication, where ELF, VLF, and LF waves will reach each person from within his or her own mind, convincing each of them that their own God is speaking to them from the very depths of their own soul.
Okay, that's completely possible. They've already accomplished this. Not to this extent, but in multiple different scenarios, they've accomplished something similar. So, interesting.
Such rays from satellites are fed from the memories of computers that have stored massive data about every human on Earth and their languages. The rays will then interlace with their natural thinking to form what we call diffuse artificial thought. That kind of technology goes into the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s research where the human brain has been compared to a computer. Information is fed in, processed.
What they're gonna do if I have no God? They already said what they're gonna do. They're gonna make you believe in a deity. But the thing is, hang on.
Integrated, and then a response is formulated and acted upon.
We know for a fact that the U.S. military and intelligence have experimented with mind control. We know they used sound waves in the Vietnam War to make the enemy anxious without knowing why. The CIA used these and all kinds of other methods to scramble people's brains and program them to be sleeper agents.
No. That's bullshit. That never actually happened.
Down in the breadbasket, Chief.
I'm not gonna believe in anything but my entire monthly wage on red. If you saw some fucking giant ass fucking demon come out of the ground real quick, you're not gonna believe that you saw that. You're gonna think if you're not high, nothing, and all of a sudden this big ass fucking monster comes out of the ground, and you're like, huh, okay. And it starts talking to you through your fucking brain, you're gonna believe that shit. You're gonna believe it immediately. Don't pretend like you're any different than anybody else, because you're not. Your ass is probably gonna be the first one to suck his dick.
The government uses EM waves for all kinds of dark purposes. They've patented a device that can trigger emotions in a target from a half-mile away.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
talking
what's really
about.
scary about the patent is that it claims it can piggyback its signal onto any frequency. That would mean we can never escape it. Everything that uses electricity has an electromagnetic field. Think you're safe living off the grid? Nope. Radio signals can bounce off the ionosphere and reach anywhere in the world. The fourth and final stage of Project Bluebeam is the most sinister. Serge Manasse predicts a universal supernatural manifestation with electronic means. In other words, an alien invasion.
Okay.
The elites will promise to unite and
There we
defend the
go.
world against our common enemy. But to do that,
That
they'll
was
need
gonna be
emergency
crazy.
power. But it's only temporary, so we won't resist authority. We'll beg for it.
More aliens.
You're not ready for it.
Your Twitter has some Chinese censorship. What are you talking about? My Twitter? The fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you on about, bro? Half of my messages are not sent. Oh. That's probably just because you're retarded. I don't think it's China. I think it's just because you're dumb. Here, let me see the... Oh yeah, they block curse words on me. You can't fucking curse on Twitter. You'd have to go on Twitch or some shit to do that.
One is to make mankind believe that an alien invasion is about to occur at every major city on Earth, in order to provoke each major nation to use its nuclear weapons in order to strike back. The United Nations Court will require that all nations which launch nuclear weapons disarm when the invasion is shown to be false. And how will the United Nations know that the invasion was false? They will have staged it, of course.
How are they gonna stage that?
Subsequently, I found out that up at Kennett Bunkport, there were all these UFOs zipping around when Bush was up there out on a cigarette boat. And they didn't realize they were ours. So now we're getting into false flag 101.
A false flag attack. They'll use holographic projections as well as real man-made craft designed to look and move like UFOs. And here's the twist. The groundwork for this deception is being laid right now. All my life, UFOs and aliens were a fringe topic. When Serge Manasse made his predictions, they were a fringe topic. Yet somehow he predicted that high-profile people from the military would come forward with claims of alien encounters, UFO crashes, and hidden government projects. He warned that whistleblowers aren't telling the truth, they're spreading disinformation. They're slowly bringing the subject of UFOs out of the fringe and into the mainstream.
That there is an overarching agenda that was hashed in between 53 and 56 to create the specter of a threat from outer space that does not exist.
And he said the best way to cause all people of the world to come together in one world government and end war forever would be...
Honestly, think about it. It would cause everybody to come together. Nobody would be fighting. We'd all just agree. It doesn't sound like the worst fucking thing to happen. Like, yeah, it's fucked up how they did it, but it doesn't sound like the absolute worst problem, you know what I mean?
If we were attacked by some other species from some other planet, and boy, that just clicked with me and I knew that that this is just another scam. This is the age of deception. There's no doubt about it. Age of deception, 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 age of deception.
And blame Osama bin Laden name. On June 20, 2001, Bill Cooper said the U.S. would stage a false flag attack on a major city and blame Osama bin Laden. 6 weeks later, several of the towers fell. They didn't blame Osama bin Laden for that. Oh yeah, they did. That's right. Said the government would kill him for his religion. 6 weeks after that, Bill Cooper was killed in a shootout with authorities trying to serve him a warrant. Only one crime in America carries penalties more severe than murder. Tax evasion.
The military releases videos of UFOs, and Congress holds hearings. And the news reports all this with a straight face.
Yeah, I saw that.
New. By spreading the idea of non-human biologics with advanced technology, the elites behind Project Bluebeam are creating a narrative that will feel completely logical once the attack happens. Manass's theory goes on. The invasion will begin with staged UFO sightings over major cities, causing mass panic. Governments around the world will issue warnings of an impending global catastrophe. They'll ask permission for something unthinkable and will say yes.
What's unthinkable? Air sign roads. Oh, did I not change it? Yeah, it's science and technology.
Nuclear weapons will be deployed in a desperate battle for survival against alien forces. Can you imagine what it would be like if the skies were full of UFOs, fighter jets, and nuclear explosions? I mean, really think about it. That would be so terrifying that people would gladly give up freedom in exchange for survival.
Why?
So the nations of the world
just
will
shoot
unite
their asses,
into
bro.
a central one-world government. It's the only way to protect humanity from further alien incursions. The false flag invasion will unite humanity, but more than that, it will change our entire worldview. It will redefine what we believe is possible. Now we'll believe anything. The final step of Project Bluebeam seeks to turn that belief into a tool of absolute control. Once the threat is over and the population is calm, using a combination of holographic technology and radio waves, everybody's brains will be wiped. We'll have no memory of what came before this event. This will be done by building upon CIA brainwashing techniques developed and perfected during MKUltra. Then with every mind on Earth a clean slate, the New World Order can begin. Families will be dissolved because you don't know who your family is. You only know the information being transmitted to you by Project Bluebeam. So you go along willingly and peacefully.
This shit doesn't even make any fucking sense.
The Shadow Masters will have boots on the ground ready to go.
There's so many questions that are unanswered.
Men, women, and children around the world will be lined up and inventoried. You might not remember who you are, but they will. They'll know where you live, what you did for a living, who your family is, and most of all, they will know what you own. Cars, homes, money, every asset you have will be accounted for. Your assets will be seized because you don't know what your assets were. And you'll be assigned housing and a job because you don't remember where you lived or what you did. But you won't work for money. You don't need money. Everything you need is provided for you. You feel like this is how life should be. Any other way
Isn't that just socialism?
of life sounds primitive and
That's like literally the point of socialism is everything's provided for you by the government.
chaotic.
So this is just socialism.
All the wealth in the world belongs to a very select few people. They retain their memories.
Oh, nope, that's capitalism.
And they live in luxury. And they know that as long as they keep the population fed, meaning fed food and fed propaganda, people will comply. And anyone who doesn't, they quickly disappear. All homes and businesses will have cameras and microphones. It's illegal to tamper with these. Finding dissenters is easy. You just watch, wait, and act. Within 2 generations, the New World Order will seem perfectly natural. Dissenting wouldn't even make sense. By then, children aren't born to parents. Everyone is sterilized at birth. The Shadow Masters keep tight control on population growth. Children are created by DNA genetically optimized for desirable qualities like submissiveness, agreeability,
There's like 50 fucking movies that are based off of this shit.
and lack of curiosity. They are incubated, educated, and assigned a role in society. When they're no longer useful, they're euthanized. This will seem humane. Letting someone live for years sick and old will seem cruel, and that's the cycle. The architects of the New World Order have finally achieved the utopia they've always wanted. Now, Serge Monast has attracted plenty of critics and skeptics. Some people call him a kook. Other people call him a prophet. Unfortunately, we won't know who's right until it's too late.
Until it's too late. Here we go. It's gonna get real.
Project Bluebeam claims NASA and the UN plan to fake an alien invasion using mind control and holograms to create a new god, then scare people into accepting a one-world government. Great story. But is it true? Well, I can't debunk a secret government program because it's secret, but we can break down Project Bluebeam to see if it's even possible. Step 1 is earthquakes. Do we have the technology to create them on demand? We do. We do this all the time by fracking for oil. The number of earthquakes of a 3.0 magnitude or higher in Oklahoma
Oh, he's gonna talk about Oklahoma. I was just about to go into this.
went from an average of 2 per year in the 2000s to over 800 in 2015, induced by fracking.
It happened.
So the
I was there.
technology is here. The problem is it can't be done in secret. You need huge crews of people and loud, heavy machinery. They couldn't hide it.
Yeah.
Step 2, global holograms of gods and UFOs. This tech doesn't exist. Nothing even close to it does.
Yeah, but the military is always 20 years ahead.
Maybe, but it would use so much power, you'd have to dedicate the entire energy industry to it. All oil, gas, coal, and nuclear energy has to go into this one single project. Word would get out. Step 3, mind control, using electromagnetic waves. This tech exists, but it's not really mind control. It can affect moods, cause anxiety, make people sick, even kill them. But you can't implant messages or create sleeper agents.
Yeah, the CIA's still working on it, though.
Well, if they are, they'd be breaking the law.
Oh, my mistake, of course. The CIA would never break the law.
Faking an alien invasion, even without holographic technology, could be done. All you need is a story and a compliant media to push it.
UFO sightings are a national security threat.
The things that they came up against were potentially so advanced that they posed an existential threat.
Why are they showing Sky News? Sky News isn't American, it's Australian.
To the United States.
Well, we already have that.
We do, and that's too bad. The Founding Fathers gave the press special protections to watch politicians. Instead, the press gives special protections to the politicians so they can watch us. That's dangerous because the United States has a dark history of false flag operations. Remember Operation Gladio?
Link right down in your honeypot.
The CIA and Mafia teamed up and armed Italian terrorists to kill civilians and blame the communists. Or Operation Northwoods in 1962. The Defense Department planned to attack Americans and blame Cuban terrorists. Then they'd invade Cuba. And thank goodness JFK said no. He stopped trusting the military intelligence state after the Bay of Pigs.
Hey, and how'd that work out for him?
Not well. JFK didn't want war, so he was replaced by a president who did. Lyndon Johnson, who presided over the Gulf of Tonkin incident, a false flag operation where the U.S. Navy claimed it was under attack by North Vietnam. Now, this is still controversial to say, but I don't care. It's true. The U.S. government lied to drag us into the senseless Vietnam War.
Okay.
What I want is somebody that can lay up some plans to trap these guys and whip hell out of them. Kill some of them. That's what I want to do.
Well, I'll try and bring something back. We'll meet that objective. One telegram, which we later found from Commander Herrick of the Maverick, had been made available to the committee at that time. I'm quite sure they would have had long hearings, gone into it thoroughly, and if they'd been able to discover the facts as they actually were, I don't believe it passed resolution because it was based upon absolutely false, erroneous information.
50,000 Americans dead.
Okay, so yeah, that all happened, but I don't know how to. Okay, I don't know how to come back from that.
300,000 wounded. For what? To enrich weapons manufacturers and chemical companies? Really? But that's the theme of this episode. To achieve their goals, whatever they are, the power structure has to deceive us. Okay, back to the UFOs, the whistleblowers. I take a lot of heat for openly saying I don't trust them. Everything they say is approved by the Pentagon. That doesn't mean what they say is true. It means the Pentagon wanted them to say it. That's a great opportunity for deception. David Grush heard from a guy who knew a guy who worked with another guy who said he saw UFO wreckage. What?
Dave then went to the Defense Office of Pre-Publication Security Review, the DOPSA office inside the Pentagon, and he asked for permission to talk about what he knows, or what he says he knows. And they've given him permission to talk about crash retrievals.
Did we learn anything from any of that? Luis Elizondo was in charge of ATIP, but the Pentagon said he wasn't. Then he said they're smearing him. Then they said, well, he worked as a contractor, but not ATIP, and on and on and on. Which side is telling the truth? We don't know, but one side is using deception. Elizondo said he resigned because he was frustrated with the government's lack of transparency about UFOs. Great. That's what we need, that kind of bravery. Okay, tell us what's going on. What'd you see? What do we have? Well, he said, well, I have to be careful about what I say.
So they made it very clear to me that I have to be very careful not to talk about something that I'm not allowed to talk about.
Oh, but there are more details in my book.
Whatever's in there is cleared.
Oh, look, I want to believe these guys. But as they say,
Buy my book.
I've been hurt before. Air Force intelligence, where both men spent many years, specializes in deception.
Okay, so Air Force intelligence, yeah, that's a part of it, but it's a really, 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 really minor part of Air Force intelligence. Army intelligence, on the other hand, where they fucking... I guess he's right, technically.
We started slowly convincing him, or not really convincing him, but just giving him the idea that this might be just UFOs, extraterrestrials. And he ran with that.
I have to be careful. Is it possible? And I'll be very careful what I say.
Hey, I just tapped into a secret laser on Kirtland Air Force Base. Obviously, we can't have that happen. So all I had to do was say, well, you know what, Paul? Maybe what you did see was UFOs.
There's a place near Culpeper, Virginia called The Farm, and people are
We're going to take a short break here for a second. I will be right Hey, y'all, I'm back. Sorry about that, everybody. I am back. I missed you. I'm sorry I left you.
To be professional disinformation.
Let's continue doing this. Okay,
basically
so
how
where
to
were
lie
we?
well.
There's
Yeah,
techniques
okay.
that we use, that we're trained to use, in gaining that person's confidence. And I use those techniques against Bill Moore. And agreeing to say things that we wanted said regarding the UFO community or within the UFO community.
And when you see people on CNN or CBS 60 Minutes, the folks that they will allow to talk about it are people that have been cherry-picked by this cabal, this secret government group, to say what they're told to say. It's scripted.
I want to be careful that I don't, because again, I haven't had what I have approval to talk about. I gotta be careful. I don't want to. Yeah, and again, I got to be careful because some of that stuff I haven't been cleared to talk about.
Do you have any examples of this? Yes, of course. Nick Pope, Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, all those guys.
Okay. Again, I got to be careful exactly what I say, but
they have been, I know for a fact, been told what to say.
I'm still advising the U.S. government on this.
You still consult with the government. You still have a security clearance.
So, and I'm trying to carefully message this, and on occasion, I still will consult for the U.S. government, for the U.S. government, for the U.S. government, for the U.S. government, for the U.S.
Okay.
So let's assume Elizondo is telling the truth. He said UFOs are a real threat to our national security. That's a serious statement to make if it's not true. But remember, Serge Manasse said that's all part of the plan. To convince us through deception that UFOs are a threat. So is Project Bluebeam happening? Well, Serge Manasse's story is complicated. The government did harass him, arrest him for misinformation, and he died the next day. It sounds like a conspiracy. But he loved Star Trek, and he called Project Bluebeam Star Trek technology. And Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, released the plot of an unreleased movie called The God Thing. It was eventually used for a Next Generation episode called Devil's Due. An alien uses technology to pose as a god and enslave a planet. She even uses mind control and holograms.
Oh no, when did this guy release his book?
About 18 months after that episode aired.
Oh.
Right. Project Bluebeam sounds like science fiction because it probably was. But that doesn't mean there's nothing to the story. The world the elites want to create is exactly how Project Bluebeam describes. And it's already happening. They're already merging economies, cultures, and governments. That's globalism. The Council on Foreign Relations, Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission, WEF, Davos. These are globalists, and they're not looking out for us.
Illuminati Volume 1 link down in the click hole.
Globalism, if done right, could help poor countries benefit from wealthier ones. There could be better cooperation, easier trade, cultural exchange, fewer wars. Sounds good. But their vision is more like Serge Manasse's prediction. Centrally planned government, a single currency, controlled wages and prices, assigned jobs, no private property, and depopulation. They downplay their more extreme plans. Deception. And the rules they want to impose on us to implement their vision, well, those rules don't apply to them. They want us to drive electric cars and take public transportation. They fly on private jets and are driven around by a fleet of Range Rovers. They want to install devices in our homes to limit the energy we use for heating and cooling, but keep their 5 houses at perfect temperature year-round. They want us to eat a plant-based diet.
And bugs!
And bugs, they really do.
How can we grow nutritious and sustainable food that supports
Right,
healthy and productive lives
What's up, Drew?
with far fewer
How are
resources
you?
available?
You doing okay, man?
Insects are among the most abundant and nutritious animals on the planet.
But when these people get
Okay, but she's right. Bugs are extremely good for you. Like, if you're ever in a situation where you have nothing to eat and all you have is bugs, super good for you. Like, it'll save your life. So I don't see the problem.
Go through a lot of steak and lobster. Greenpeace says that Davos is a distasteful masterclass in hypocrisy. And people often call out this hypocrisy. But here's what everyone misses. They don't see themselves as hypocrites. They need more resources because they're more important than us. They can't spend all day at an airport waiting in security lines and dragging bags and dealing with flight delays. They're so busy saving the world, they have to be exempt from the rules. And most of these elites aren't evil people.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure about that.
Really, most are not. They want a cleaner, safer...
Yeah, you can eat tree bark, but only certain kinds. What dogwood tree bark is bad for you. No, not dogwood. Willow tree bark's bad for you. Um, and one more. I think it's elm. I don't know, but yeah, you can eat pretty much
And
fucking
better
anything.
world
To be
for
honest, you can literally you can eat wood too if you really needed
everyone.
to. But tree bark doesn't have any calories in it, so it's not going to really do anything.
They want to feed starving children. They want older people to live in dignity. They don't want anyone to live in poverty. Noble goals. Their solution? A rental-based economy for housing, food, and everything.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
Right. Ida Auken said at the World Economic Forum in 2016, the state would own all resources, and we just subscribe to them. Sharing and limiting access to resources would cut waste and pollution.
You want the function, you want the service, right? Why do you want to own a cell phone if you can just lease it? And if you lease, why shouldn't you lease your refrigerator or your washing machine or your dishwasher, or why do you want to own it?
And you don't want to own a home.
Secure a mortgage, buy a ton of furniture, and spend long hours on upkeep and renovation once in a while.
But they aren't wrong. Owning shit is fucking horrible.
Why make all these commitments? Life is full of surprises.
Renting gives you more freedom and less responsibility. And if the state controls resources, they'd be shared more fairly. They would limit access for some people in order to give access to others.
Well, no, they aren't wrong at all. Buying shit is fucking horrible. You don't want to own anything. Like, if you buy something, well, think about it. If you buy a house, if the fucking water heater breaks, you have to pay $3,000 to replace that water heater. If you rent the house, the water heater breaks, you call the landlord, and they have 72 hours to replace the water heater, or you get rent for free, because it's illegal to not have hot water. So, like, why would you want to own anything? If you own your car, and you go to sell it, it's worth less, right? But if you pull a loan out for your car, and then you get loan replacement or loan matching through your insurance, when you go to sell the car, whatever you owe on the car is matched for that loan. So now you can buy a new car for the exact same amount that you had your car for. So, like, why own anything? And then if you own something, you now have an asset, and people can come take your assets if you owe money. So why the fuck would you own anything? All you want to rent your shit and have all your assets in stock that nobody can touch. That is the best way to do it. But anyways,
From
yeah.
each according to his ability, to each according to his needs.
Exactly. Karl Marx said that.
So, like, yeah, I don't know, man. Karl Marx. Here we go.
The resource rental economy idea is just another flavor of communism. But they present it as this grand plan that would make everyone's lives better. Their presentation is deception. We know what would happen.
That's not communism. It's called capitalism. Because the people that own the home make more money. That's capitalistic.
We'd
Yeah, pretty
have
much.
to contribute our private property, but the elites wouldn't. They're too important. They're doing this for the greater good. That's not
No,
evil.
dude.
That's just arrogance. Project Bluebeam is a warning. Don't be deceived into accepting globalism.
How much is longer
The
is left in
WEF
this?
has
10
backed
minutes.
away from
Okay.
the own nothing and be happy idea, but only after they were called out on it. They liked it before. That's deception. To accept their vision for a new world, existing institutions like religion, family, and patriotism need to be completely dismantled. Most of us don't want this, so the message has to be delivered as a subtle deception. Like maybe you can slip it into pop culture.
Let the past die.
I've read humanity's story, so now I'm erasing them.
I will shred this universe down to its last atom. And then create a new one.
That the old ways serve us no longer.
The past is dead. We either move forward or we die with it.
Kill it if you have to.
Karl Marx said that the old ways have to be torn down, and the only way to do it is by force. That's the only way.
There is only one way in which the murderous death agonies of the old society and
Why
the
does he look so
bloody
fake?
throes of the new society can be shortened, simplified, and concentrated. And that way is revolutionary terror.
Karl
And look,
Marx
this
was a
episode has
fucking
nothing
idiot.
to do with politics. It's about the powerful using deception to take advantage of the powerless. You can be a communist, or a socialist, or a capitalist. I'm a little bit of all those.
Karl Marx was a fucking dumbass, dude. There's a reason that none of his shit worked out. There's a reason it's never works, because he's a fucking idiot.
But most of all,
Fuck
I'm a
that guy.
realist. Believe whatever you want. Just be honest about it. All systems are flawed because we are flawed. When ideologues claim their
That's
system
fair.
is fair, they're lying. Communism isn't fair, but neither is capitalism.
That's fair.
Socialism isn't fair, and the free markets aren't fair.
That's
No
fair.
fair system exists because some people will always take advantage and will always want more. They know this, so they
Okay.
deceive us.
Okay. So that's a good fucking point. There is no perfect system. This isn't fucking like whatever it's called. This isn't utopia. There's no perfect system. That's 100% completely true. But at the same time, communism and Karl Marx are a bunch of fucking retards. And anyways, let's continue.
Project Bluebeam may never happen, but the tools to control perception are here and being used against us every day. So what can you do? Well, get your information from as many sources as you can, but know they all have an agenda and use subtle deceptions to manipulate you. When you hear kill the past or unburdened by what has been, that's Marx talking, but they won't admit it. It's deception, and I want you to recognize it. Once you learn all the subtle ways the powerful use deception, you'll be changed forever. The world goes from black and white to color. You can't ever be deceived again. And when you learn, teach the skill to your kids, to everyone you can. That's the only way to stop Project Bluebeam and every other plan that requires us to surrender our freedom to the powerful. More regular people, like you and me, have to recognize when we're being deceived and say no. Whether it's the media, politicians, or a giant god in the sky.
Okay, how about
more of us
y'all?
need to
Okay,
see the
okay. How about y'all just give me all your shit, and I will take care of you. Okay? I'm not gonna give you anything, but I'll take care of you. I'll kiss you on the forehead every night, tuck you in, smack your ass a little bit. You know, I'll take care of you. So just give me all your money, all your free time. Use Malcor every fucking day.
power structure for what it really is.
Sounds like a deal. All right. Give you a little smack on the ass every now and then. Call you baby.
Thank
I
you
got
so
you.
much for hanging out.
All right. So that was something. Let's go back to let's go learn some more Rust a little bit, because I'm excited to learn Rust. So let's go learn a little bit more Rust.
B-tree set are alternate map and set implementations using a modified binary tree. You usually
You want me to fucking what do you don't want me to smack your ass? Man, I'm gonna smack that.
only choose these over
Like
the hash
that.
variants if you need the map keys
Mm.
or set values to always be sorted. In the next video, we'll talk about enums.
We'll watch it in a minute. Okay, let's talk about enums. Alright, enums. Cargo new enums. Enums, here we go. Enums, okay.
Now it's time to talk about enums.
Hi,
Enums
man.
and Rust are more like
I'll catch you
algebraic
later.
data types in Haskell than C-like enums.
Cool, sounds good,
To
man.
specify an enum,
Talk
we
if you
feed
can.
enum, the name of the enum
Have
in
fun.
capital camel case, and the names
Okay.
of the
So, enum color red, blue, green. Cool.
variants in a block. You can stop there if you want and just use it like that, in which case it is sort of like an enum in C.
It's literally
Just
an enum in C.
namespace into the enum and away you go.
Let my color red.
However, the real power of a Rust enum comes from associating data and methods with the variants.
Okay.
You can always have a named variant.
Dispensary
within an
item?
A variant can have a single type of data, a tuple of data, or an anonymous struct of data.
So I could do red as string from red, or I could do blue color blue and green I32.
An enum is sort of like a union in C, only so much better.
Okay. My color. Expected item. Fuck it.
If you create an enum, the value can be any one of these variants. For example, your dispenser item could be an empty with no data associated.
Okay, so let's do what he's doing. Enum dispenser item empty ammo U8 things string I32 place X I32 Y I32. Okay, and then you use let item equal dispenser item empty line item. Will that work?
Associated with it. But you can
Doesn't
tell
work.
that it's an empty. Or it could be an ammo.
Okay, let's try ammo. Ammo 69. Nice.
With a single byte in it. Or it could be a things with a string and assigned 32-bit integer in it. Or it could be a place with X and Y I32s.
Okay,
It can be any one of those, but only one at a time. Even better, you can implement functions and methods for an enum. You can also use enums with generics. Option is a generic enum in the standard library that you will use all the time. The T in angle brackets means any type. You don't have to use T, you could use some other valid identifier, but the idiomatic thing to do in Rust is to use T or some other.
So I can just make a option enum option T some T none. Let opt equal none. Do they have a null? No. Options. S. Cool.
Capital letter. The option enum represents when something is either absent or present. If you're trying to reach for a null or nil value, like in other languages, you probably want to use an option in Rust. You either have some value wrapped in the sum variant, or you have none. I'm going to use an option for the rest of the examples in this section. Because
if let's sum x.
enums can represent all sorts of data, you need to use patterns to examine them. If you want to check for a single variant, you use the if-let expression. If-let takes a pattern that will match one of the variants. If the pattern does match, then the condition is true and the variables inside the pattern are created for the scope of the if-let block. If the pattern doesn't match, then the condition is false. This is pretty handy if you care about one variant matching or not, but not as great if you need to handle all the variants at once. In that case, you use the match expression, which is match, a variable whose type supports matching, like an enum, the body of the match in braces, where you specify patterns followed by double arrows, which are equal signs followed by greater than symbols, pointing to an expression that represents the return value of that arm of the match.
So none
Match
is a type.
expressions require you to write a branch arm for every possible outcome. In other words, the patterns in a match expression must be exhaustive. A single underscore all by itself is a pattern that matches anything and can be used for a default or anything else branch. Note that even though you will often
Not S. Okay. That's what I thought. Opt. Cannot compile use.
see blocks as the expression for a branch arm, any expression will do, including things like function calls and bare values. Either all branch arms need to return nothing, or all branch arms
Expected bool found option bool. Opt. Star? No, that's not it.
need to return the same type. Remember that if you actually use the return value of an expression that ends in a curly brace like match, if-let, or if, or a nested brace, then you have to put a semicolon after the closing brace. If you don't use the return value of a braced expression, then Rust lets you cheat and leave off the semicolon. I want to talk a bit more in depth about two special enums. What's so special about them is that they're used all over the standard library, so you will encounter them constantly. First, let's look a little more at option. Here's the definition of option again.
Okay, so he has some option, some T, and then none, like this.
As I said earlier, option is used whenever something might be absent. Here is how you could create a none variant of an option.
Okay, so to create a none variant of an option, let none variant opt equal option. R32 equals none. That creates a none variant of an option. So if I do print line none variant opt, should say none, right? Maybe. Yeah, none. Okay.
I specified the type that Sum will wrap in angle brackets after the option. Notice that I don't have a use statement bringing into scope option or its variants, sum or none, from the standard library. Since option and its variants are used so much, they're already included in the standard prelude, which is the list of items from the standard library that are always brought into scope by default. If you ever use option with a concrete type, then the compiler will infer the type, which means you can leave the type annotation off of the declaration most of the time. There's a handy helper method called isSum that returns true if x is the sum variant. There's also an is-none method.
Let results equal none type variant dot is none results. That should return true. Oop. There we go. Yeah, returns true.
Just the opposite.
And then let results 1 equal is sum should return false. Print line. Results 1 should be false, correct? Yes. Okay.
Option implements the into iterator trait, so you can also treat it similar to.
So let my x equal none, x equals sum. Let's undo this. Then let x equal option sum 15. Okay. And then I can do let mut x equal none. Then I can do x equals sum. Then I can do for I and x print line I, and it should print a 14. Oh. No. Okay, let's. Oh, could not compile enum. So, what if I did. What if I made. I don't know. Anyways, let's continue. Hold on.
And put it in a for loop. You ought to read through the methods for option because you will end up using them a lot. There are a whole bunch more of them that I won't go over. The other important enum is result. Result is used whenever something might have a useful result or might have an error. This turns up especially often in the I/O module.
The I/O module.
Here's the definition of the result enum. First,
must use. What does must use do? So he has must use. I'm assuming that's a macro. Result. Oh, I get it. Any type, error. And then, okay, T. Then error, E. I get what's going on here. Okay, let's.
First, you'll see that the type wrapped by OK and the type wrapped by error are both generic but independent of each other. Second, the must use annotation makes it a compiler warning to silently drop a result. You have to do something with it. Rust strongly encourages you to look at all possible errors and make a conscious choice what to do with each one. Anytime you deal with I/O, failure is a possibility, so results are used a lot there, like I said earlier. Let's see it in action. Here I bring standard file system file into scope and then try to open a file.
So let's go ahead and import. Here's std fs file. So if I try to open file, open X, that file doesn't exist, so it'll fail. Unused result that must be used. Okay.
This returns a result because the file might not get opened successfully. Since I dropped the result without doing anything with it, I get this compiler warning. Unused standard result that must be used.
Yes. Yep, unused result that must be used.
Point
Okay.
is, ignoring errors is not a safe thing to do, so let's go choose something to do with our result. The simplest thing
let res equal let fh equal res dot unwrap. What does that do?
You could choose to do is to unwrap the result with the unwrap method. If the
Okay.
result is an OK, then this gives you the file struct that you wanted. If the result is an error, then this crashes the program. In some cases, crashing the program may be what you want. In any case, you get to choose. Another option is the expect method. It's exactly the same as unwrap.
Expect. Okay, so that one errors out. So let h equal res dot expect error message. This will fail because error message. Yeah.
Except that the string that you pass to expect is also printed in the crash output. So you can provide yourself.
Cannot find the file. So if I'm looking for this, it should
a little bit of custom context as to why the crash occurs. Just like option, there are helper methods.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this real quick. I want to try something. If res dot is okay, print line file open successfully. Else print line file does not exist. So this should print out file does not exist. Perfect.
Like is okay and
that's
is
cool.
error that return
I like that.
Here we know that unwrap will never crash because we made sure it wasn't.
Let fh equal res dot unwrap. Okay, that's cool. Now that will never. Cool.
Okay already. Of course, you can always do full pattern matching as well. Here I match on a result. And
match res. Ooh, I can do it a different way. So I can match res. Okay. F. Print line. File exists. Error. E. Print line. File does not exist. Error. E. That's fucking cool.
Execute different blocks depending on what I got back. In the next video, we'll talk about closures.
Closures. Exercise G. Alright, let's get into exercise G. Y'all ready for exercise G? G source. Alright. Clear. Okay. Classify the shots. Create an enum called shot with variance bullseye. Okay. So enum shot bullseye hit F64 miss. Okay. Complete 1B as well. 1B. Implement this method to convert a shot into points. Self function. Okay. Points. If okay.
Exercise G. Collections and enums. As is my custom, I encourage you to go and take a shot at this exercise yourself. See if you can complete it, have some fun with it, and then come back.
Okay, so let's go ahead and try this out real quick. Implement this method to convert a shot into points. Return 5 points if self is a shot bullseye. If self equals shot bullseye, return 5. Else if self equals shot hit X. Do you wear glasses? No, why? Shit. I don't. Fuck. There we go. Okay. Jimmy's doing alright. I threw him earlier, so I think he's okay. Hot X. Hit is less than 3.0. The fuck? I don't understand.
Alright, now that you've had a chance, let's go.
Oh, we were watching conspiracy videos, but I got bored, so now we're doing Rust.
Arrows at a target. We need to classify the shots. 1A. Create an enum called shot with these variants. Okay? Enum. Shot. Variants. Bullseye. Next is hit containing the distance from the center as an F64. Last a miss.
Okay.
Alright, I have our comma there at the end. You'll need to complete 1B as well before you will be able to run this program successfully. So let's go do 1B.
I don't understand this part.
So we're going to add some methods, or a method, to our shot. Implement this method to convert a shot into points. Okay, so that means we're going to need to match on myself, which is an enum with the possible values. One is a shot bullseye.
Gotcha. Match self shot bullseye. Right, that's the syntax.
And if that is the case, what do I return? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well this function is returning an I32, 5 points. 5.
5. 5. Okay, got it. Shot. Hit.
Next, if it is a shot.
I'm also a believer.
And it is a hit with some X.
Hit. X. X.
X. Then let's go take a look at our X. And if X.
There we go. Yeah, I know what to do. Okay. If X 3.0 return 1 else 0.
X is smaller than 3.0, then we're a 2, otherwise...
No, 2. Oh, 2. 2 and 1. Okay.
We're a 1. So 2 points if we're close enough to the target that it's less than 3 units away. If it's more...
Okay. Then shot, miss, 0. That should work. Yup, okay. For each coordinate and error coordinate, call coordinate and print description. Gonna lurk while I work on my robot. Alright, dude. Sounds good. Let me know if you got anything, any questions or anything. I'll do my best to answer you, because I love you. For each chord in arrow.chords, append the correct version of shot to the shots vector. Okay. Chord for chord in arrow chords. Chord.print description. Love you and Jim. Oh, thanks, man. Warms my heart. Okay. If on print line chord. Can I do that? Yes. Okay. Okay. Now let x equal chord x. Let y equal chord y. Print line x y. Is it chord dot x? It might be dot x. Yeah, okay. Cool. Append the correct variant of shot to the shots vector depending on the value of chord distance from sentence. Let distance equal chord dot distance from center. Print line distance distance. Okay. I don't need those. Shot bullseye. If distance is, where's less than? Less than. Is less than 1.0. Shot bullseye. Else if distance distance less than 5.0 and distance greater than 1.0. Shot hit distance else shot miss. Right? Final point is 0.
3 units away, but still on the target, then it is a
That should be something.
There is a nicer way to use this, I think. I think we can make this a little bit nicer for these guards. So here, if we go if x is less than 3.0 right there, then this entire arm could just be the 2, and then we could do...
Oh shit, so we can do if x less than 3.02. No shit, that's cool. Okay.
Duplicate this. Say for anything else, then we know it's greater than or equal to because we already checked the less than. So in that case, it's 1. I think that's a little bit nicer in this case to use a guard up here.
Okay.
And then last, we've got shot miss, and in that case, we are 0 points. That's 0. Let's go give this a try. Whoops, what did I do wrong? 35. Unexpected, huh? What did I do? I probably did something wrong here. Yeah, look at that. We got 2 closing races for that match. There we go. Let's go give it a try again.
Hold on. No. That's fucking ugly as shit. We're not doing that.
Huh? Well, what did I do? I probably did something wrong here. Yeah, look at that. We got 2 closing races for that match. There we go. Let's go give it a try again. Voila. Okay. Main. Simulate shooting a bunch of arrows and gathering their coordinates on the target. So we've got our arrow coords, which is a vector of coords. We've got a little helper function here that gives us 5 random coordinates, random shots. Who knows where they hit? And then we make an empty vector of shots. So we're going to convert the coordinates into our shots. So for each coordinate in arrow coords, call print description so we can see what it was, and then create the correct variant of shot depending on the value of distance from center. Less than, between, greater than. Okay, so we're going to convert coords into shots in this step. So for coord in arrow coords, first we need to call coord print description. Then we need to append the correct variant of shot to the shots vector. So let's say let our current shot be, let's match on our distance from center. Chord distance from center. Now this is...
Okay. Match chord distance from center.
A floating point, and we can totally do matches on that. So x, if x is less than 1.0, then what is our shot going to be? It's going to be a shot bullseye.
Okay, so x. Bullseye. Okay. Is less than, x is greater than, hit x. Okay. Shot miss.
And x if x is smaller than 5.0, Well, we already know it's greater than or equal to 1 because we just checked it above us. And in that case, it's going to be shot and hit, and the value is going to be our x. And if it's greater than 5, that's going to be any other condition. So let's just use our wild card here. Say in all other cases, we'll return a shot miss. And then
So that's wild card.
And since we're using the value of this match expression, we need a semicolon here. Now I've got a shot. It's an enum. It's one of these shot variants. And what are we going to do to it? We're going to take our shots vector and we're going to push it onto it. Shots push.
Shots dot push x.
Push or shot.
Oh, shot. Distance.
So let's go out here and go cargo run. Should have some interesting output now. There we go.
Cool.
Random output.
Alright. Okay. Now for shot distance. Then shots. Total plus equals shots. Print line shots. Wait. Okay, so shots dot push distance. Print line shots.
Still not doing the totals, but that's okay. We're putting everything in that vector, but we're not using it yet. If we run it again, we should see our random in action, random numbers. All right, let's go back. Number 3, loop through each shot in shots. Okay, so 4 shot in shots.
Yeah, so 4 shot in shots.
And add its points to total. So total plus equals shot points.
Okay, shot points. Okay. Got it.
Remember that method?
Okay. Now let's scroll down. Okay, cool.
We create it up here near the start, points, and we convert ourself, our enum, into a number that we can then add to our total there. And then our final point total should actually make sense. So let's go give that a try. Clear, cargo, run. All right, so here's our random stuff. So 4.3, that's almost to 5, but it's still on. So that should be a 1.2. That's under 3, so that's 2 points. Another 2 points, so what are we up to? 5, and then another 1 point. That's 6, another 1.7. Final point total is 7. Hey, look at that. It works. Different random numbers, different results, but it looks like it's working. Let's try it again. Let's see if we can get a bullseye. Oh, 0. Missed the target every time. 7. No bullseyes for us tonight. All right. Well, there was one. All right, then. This was a pretty big exercise, so I didn't make a challenge on this one. So we are all done.
closures. Alright. That was cool. Closures.
You'll encounter closures when you want to spawn a thread, or when you want to do some function
Closures,
closures,
closures.
and in some other common places in the standard library. So let's learn about closures. A closure is an anonymous function that can borrow or capture some data from the scope it is nested in. The syntax is a parameter list between two pipes without type annotations followed by a block. This creates an anonymous function called a closure.
Hang on, guys. One sec. Fuck. One sec. Sorry. Hang on a sec.
That you can call later. The types of the arguments and the return value are all inferred from how you use the arguments and what you return. So let's assign this closure to a variable called add.
Okay. So let add equal xy. Oops. xy. X plus y. That's it. Then let result equals add. Isn't this just a lambda? 1, 2. Then print line result should be 3. Right? Yeah. This is just a lambda function, isn't it?
Line 2, which will be added together and return 3. Let's go back to our closure again. You don't have to have any parameters. You can just leave the parameter list empty. Technically, you can leave the block empty as well, but that's not very interesting. What is really interesting is that a closure will borrow a reference to values in the enclosing scope. Let's look at an example of that. Here
no,
we
it
create
fucking
a string
won't.
S, and then we create a closure that borrows a reference to.
Alright. Oh, I get what he's doing. So, let's pull this one. Okay. Then let's let S equal pineapple to string. Okay. Let F equal print line S. Now F will print pineapple, right? Oh, I forgot the bracket. Yeah, okay.
Which
I
works
get it.
because the print line macro actually wants a reference anyway. Then we assign the closure to the variable f, and whenever we call f, it prints a strawberry. This is great if your closure never outlives the variable it is referencing, but the compiler won't let us send this over to another thread, because another thread might live longer than this thread. Luckily for us, closures also support move semantics, so we can force the closure to move any variables it uses into itself, and take ownership of them. Now S is owned by the closure and will live until the closure itself goes out of scope and gets dropped. So we could send this closure over to a thread, or return it as the value of a function, or do whatever we want with it. If you want to do some functional style programming, closure.
Oh, that's a new one. So let mut v equal vec 234. Okay. Then v dot iter dot map x times 3. Okay. Dot filter x star x less than 10. Okay. Dot fold. What does dot fold do? 0. AC x c plus x. That results print line results. Oh, okay.
Those will be your close friends. Call iter on a vector to get an iterator, and a whole bunch of methods that use closures will be available to you. Here is an example of using map and a closure to multiply each item in a vector by 3. Then filter in a closure to discard any values that aren't greater than 10.
Discard less, what is greater than 10. Okay, so what does this one do?
And then fold with an initial value and a closure to sum the remaining values together.
Sum remaining values together starting at 0. Okay.
In the next video, we will talk.
We're gonna do threads. Shit. Hell yeah. Cargo new threads. CD threads. Aliens are real. Aliens are real, G. What's going on? 100% aliens exist. Alright.
Rust threading is portable, so this code we are about to look at should work across Mac, Linux, and Windows. It will also work on a whole bunch of other platforms that I'm not going to enumerate. Here's a fully functional, but pretty empty example. We bring the thread module into scope first.
Use std thread. Okay, so first, use std thread. Okay.
First. Then in our main function, we call thread spawn. Thread spawn.
What thread handle equal thread spawn plus 1. Thanks, Howie.
Takes a closure with no arguments.
Alright, no argument closure. So then we do move print line inside thread. Okay. I don't think I need that in there. Does that work? Shit. It does.
This closure is executed as the main function of the thread. So anything that we would want to do in our thread, we would do here.
Outside thread. Original parent thread. Okay. Thread handle dot join dot unwrap. Nice.
Common
Okay.
practice is to simply call
Cool.
a function from the
Hey,
code,
thanks for the sub,
so we
G.
don't
I
have
love
a
you so
big,
much.
huge, long inline closure. Spawn returns a join handle. With that handle, we can call join, which will pause the thread that we're on until the thread we're joining has completed an exodus. The thread that we spawn could have an error like a panic, or it could return a value successfully back to the thread that joins it. So what we get from the join call is a result that wraps a possible success value returned from the thread, or an error if the thread panicked. Threading is a bit heavyweight. Creating a new thread allocates an operating system dependent amount of RAM for the thread's own stack, often a couple of megabytes. Whenever a CPU switches from running one thread to another, it has to do an expensive context switch. So the more threads you have trying to share a CPU core, the more overhead you will have in context switching.
So, hang on. Let's try something. Add 2 xy x plus y. Let's print line sum. Okay. Then if we add function times 2 xy, let's sum x times y, print line sum. Okay, so let h1, okay, add 2, 10, 20, let h2 thread spawn, move, times 2, 30, 30. Okay, I don't think I need those. Then h1, h2 dot join unwrap. Not compile thread. Here, let's just remove the equal 30 times 30, 15 plus 15. Times 2. No shit, it's that fucking easy.
Even so, threads
Okay.
are a fantastic tool when you need to use CPU and memory concurrently, because they can run simultaneously on multiple cores and actually accomplish more work. However, if you just want to continue doing some work while you are waiting for something like disk I/O or network I/O, then I
Function stop thread t dot join unwrap. So could I do this? Let much r no for thread in 1, 2 r dot append. No, that's too much work. Let's do this. Let's do stop thread h1, stop thread h2. Will that work? Thread handler. thread, spawn. No, that won't work. That's what I thought. Okay, that's fine. No, that won't work. Okay.
I encourage you to look into async await, which is a much more efficient approach for concurrently waiting for things.
Closures and threads. Nice. Okay, let's go into H. H source main. Alright, let's try to do this real quick. Filter goes here, map goes here. 1A, between the iter and the sum, add a filter with closure to keep any number. Any even number. Okay. Dot filter. Dot filter. X divided by 2 equals 0. Okay. Oops. X. Doesn't need to be, yeah, it needs to be a star. Okay. Okay, so there we go. And then map. Now add. Okay. Between the filter and the sum, add a map with closure to square the values. Multiply them by themselves. Okay. Now x times x. Okay. That's done. Spawn a child thread and have it call expensive sum my vector. Store the return join called handle. Handle equal thread spawn move. Right, thread spawn move. Expensive sum my vector. Okay. Also do some work. Let's retrieve the value. Okay. So store the return join. Okay. Let's then I should be, yeah, that's fine. Let's retrieve the value returned by the child thread once it exited. Using the handle variable you stored the join. Store the returned join handle in a variable called handle. Once you've done this, you should be able to run the code and see. Let sum print line child thread using the handle variable handle dot join. Get the iterate 32 of the result. Unwrap. Okay. Here's a permanent type of channel. I recommend always using the channel from custom crossbeam crate. Uncomment the block below and remove the Okay. Threads. 200. So, hold the fuck on. Easy. Okay. It's convenient. Make 2 child threads and give them each receiving end to a channel. I'm not doing that. That's too much work.
Exercise
Okay.
H. Closures and threads.
Threads are cool.
In this
Threads are really good in
exercise,
this
we'll
shit.
go over closures and threads. If you haven't had a chance to go over this exercise, please do so now. Pause the recording, come back when you're done.
I'm done, sir.
Alright, now that you've had a chance to do the exercise, let's run through it. 1A. We'll use a couple functional methods on iterators, filter and map specifically, to accomplish our purposes. So 1A, we need to use the filter method with a closure to remove any even number. So let's do that. We call filter on our iterator and we give it a predicate, which is a closure. The argument passed to the closure will be a reference, so we have 2 choices here. 1, we could treat x as a reference, or 2, we could dereference x inside the argument list. I'll show you both. First, treating x as a reference. Dereference x, mod it by 2, and check to see if it's equal to 0. The other way is to add an ampersand before x in the parameter list. Then x has already been dereferenced. 1b, let's use map to square the values. Map also takes a closure, and once again, our parameter is a reference.
Oh, I can
so
do
I'll
and
go ahead.
x? I didn't know that. So dereference there, and I can also dereference it here. So that will do the same fucking thing. Yeah, okay.
And dereference it. We want to square the numbers, and we're done. This should filter out any even numbers, and then square them, and then return the sum. Where to dereference a reference is a matter of style. In this case, I think it makes more sense in the parameter list. Otherwise it would look like this, which to me isn't really very readable. I'll just undo that. Number 2. Now we are going to spawn a thread, and we'll have it call that expensive sum function that we just altered. I'll uncomment this code, and I'll call standard thread spawn, which takes a closure with no arguments. The closure body needs to be an expression. A block is always an expression, but a single function call is also an expression. So here I can simply do my call. The vector is my vector, and we're done. Since expensive sum takes my vector by value, the closure will automatically become a move closure and take ownership of my vector. But I'd like to make that explicit, so I'm going to add the move before the closure. Now we're being explicit that this is a move closure. While our child thread is running, the main thread will print out the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, with a 200 millisecond pause in between so that we can see what's happening. Our expensive sum function starts with a 500 millisecond pause, so that print line ought to come in the midst of the letters being printed out. We're not joining the handle anywhere, so the value returned by the thread will be discarded. Let's give this a try. We'll do cargo run. Looks like it's working. Our child thread launched, and the output came in the middle of our main thread's output. 3. Let's get that return value from the thread. We'll take our handle to the thread. We'll join on it, which will cause us to pause until the thread exits.
Unwrap.
That will return a result that will be an error if the thread crashed, or a value to unwrap if the thread exited successfully. I'll go ahead and assume the thread exited successfully and will crash otherwise. Then we'll print out the sum. Let's go give it a try. Cargo run. The child thread's expensive sum is 20, so it worked. The main thread didn't join the child thread until after the main thread had finished printing out the letters. Number 4. This exercise is less of an exercise and more of a chance to walk through some code and just play around with it. So I'll uncomment this and walk through it with you. First, we'll create an unbounded channel. Unbounded just means that the channel will buffer as many values as it can until it runs out of memory. Creating a channel always returns a sending side and a receiving side. I've used TX for the sending side or the transmitter, and I've used RX for the receiving side. Next, we clone the transmitting side. Cloning an end of a channel makes multiple ways to communicate on that end of a channel. For this particular example, I could have used the standard MPSC modules channels, but I chose not to because in general, I always recommend using the external Crossbeam crates channels instead. They have a lot more features and higher performance. Next, we spawn a thread. We store the join handle in handle A, so this is our thread A. We have a place where we could pause, but we don't. We print out thread A1. We pause for 200 milliseconds, and then print thread A2. And then we'll exit the thread successfully. While that starts off, the main thread will pause for 100 milliseconds to give thread A a chance to start up and print out thread A1. Then we launch thread B and store a handle in handle B. Thread B also pauses for 0 milliseconds. Since the main thread paused for 100 milliseconds, thread A has already printed out thread A1 and is in the middle of pausing for 200 milliseconds. So we should see thread A1 and then thread B1. Then thread B also pauses for 200 milliseconds, which should give thread A a chance to print out thread A2 and then exit. And then our pause here at thread B will finish and we should print out thread B2. So altogether we should see thread A1, thread B1, thread A2, thread B2. Let's go see what the main thread does. The main thread loops through the receiver, printing out any messages received. That's why I referred to the transmission of the strings above as prints, because the main thread just received them and printed them out. Then for good hygiene, we join the handles. Technically, this isn't necessary, because the main thread would never get past the receiving loop until all of the transmitting sides had been closed. Closing all the transmitting sides causes the receiver to close once it's empty. So once the for loop had emptied the receiver would have exited, which would cause the for loop to exit. And so we know by this point that the threads have already exited. But for good hygiene, we'll join them anyway, just in case the program is refactored. Let's give this a try. Clear, cargo run, watch the output. Just what we expected. Thread A1.
Okay, I get it. So, I was streaming for 2.5 hours, so we're gonna cut it here for a little bit. Oh, we're gonna cut it here for the day. And I appreciate y'all watching. I will see you guys later. Have a good